Thank you for staying with us. Moving to the focus for today, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the TUC, their counterpart, have, jointly suspended the indefinite strike billed for October 3rd, 2023, following the removal of fuel subsidy to allow for implementation of the NLC demands. The president announced the wage increase in his first independence anniversary speech on Sunday. The wage increase is to help cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal, which has led to a surge in the cost of living in the country. Nigerians have struggled under the weight of the subsidy removal, which has seen the price of petrol rise from below 200 naira to over above 550 naira in some parts of the country and more than 600 naira in other parts. Citizens have also had to battle with the implication of a significantly weaker naira. To have this conversation with us this morning is Prince Adebola Adeniji Adele. He is the President General, Citizens Liberation Advocacy Initiative. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Good morning.
All right, this is more like a continuation of a conversation that we were having.
I like that.
The last time you were here, we started with, the impending strike that was being, moved by the NLC and their counterparts, the TUC. You made your stand known at the time, saying that you felt like, the NLC threatening to shut down the economy of the country at the time was rather selfish of them. And we have a new development. The NLC, together with the TUC, had a conversation with the federal government and have decided to, stand down for the next 30 days while giving the federal government the opportunity to implement some of its demands. And on Sunday, during the 1st October speech by the president, he mentioned that workers in Nigeria will receive 35,000 naira wage increase. And while that has been trending, reactions have trailed it. We as a country have 30,000 naira as the minimum wage. Most states till today haven't been able to pay that money. And now we have an additional 35,000 naira. How do you react to this approach by the federal government?
Let me thank you to continue where I stopped, and you have mentioned it. Thank you for inviting me this morning.
You're welcome.
Not only that, let me thank you also to see the changes I can see in this studio here. That is life.
Thank you.
So time changes every blessed morning, every blessed day. Thank you. I like this. Now, to where we stopped the other time, I said two things. The two things I said and has come to pass. One, I said there's no limit to dialogue. If you remember, I said dialogue comes mostly in democracy, it comes every blessed time. There's no need to fight, but when we see that error in anywhere or in anything, dialogue is the best way to use. That is number one. Number two is that I am not supporting Labour and I'm not their friend. Now, you are talking of the state now and the federal. The one they are saying now is the federal, from the zero level 1 to the level of 17 or 18 or the hierarchy there, that they are going to receive 35,000 naira among of what they are going to give to them for 6 months. But you know what surprised me? See, the Labour need to be very careful that Nigeria is watching them and looking at their steps taken every blessed money. Why? When they call them for a meeting, they refuse to go because they have having in mind that they wanted to grant this country because of what happened that you read now. And I said, why? I was not happy of hearing that. But at the end of the day, probably maybe they are watching your television, they are watching your show, they are watching your program, make them to surrender that, okay, the federal government has called them again for another meeting on Sunday. But they are there. The first thing they demanded for, okay, the federal government will agree to give you 25,000 naira added to your salary from level 1 to 17th. Did you see or did you not see the way they rejected the 25,000 naira outrightly? Do you see? Then they now look at it, okay, if that one is a problem, we now increase it from 25,000 naira to 35,000 naira. call off the strike. See, everybody in this country have one way or the other to shop. And I said the labor should remain themselves with the labor in the civil servant government. Don't bring your whatever to these people. There are some people who are outside looking for a job, looking outside, looking for what to eat. So if that should be the case, they are now called off the strike for 30 days. It now depends on the federal government. It is now I'm going to support them. If the federal government refuses to obligate whatever they have promised them, and the Bible makes us understand that promise is a debt. So it is better not to promise than to promise not to fulfill it. You have given them. You say you are going to give them for 6 months. Let's see how it goes.
All right. Another development off of that meeting is that how that the 35,000 naira is effective from September, which means the grade levels that you just mentioned are supposed to receive it with the payment for the month of September. While that has been said, reactions have also trailed that, in the sense that while this conversation happened between Labour and the federal government, other persons who should be a part of this conversation weren't present, like state governors, local government chairmen, because these are the people who would rally around and make sure that, okay, kind of agree that our state economy can carry an extra fund or not. We didn't see this happen. Other analysts have called it a knee-jerk approach by the federal government, saying things off the top of their head when there is no actual plan to implement it. How do you react to that?
No, that is where I worried. Yes. If you see the outcome of this meeting now, it's very interesting to not just only the federal. All the states have their coordinators, either the chairman of the NXC. From there also, they have senior civil servant. They have senior civil whatever association they are doing within the state. But now, you cannot be able to pay 30,000 minimum wage. From 18,000 to 30,000 minimum wage. You cannot be able to pay. Now, you have not even released an information that, okay, the state of NSC, this is how much we are going to give to you. And as much that the federal has given 35,000. Now, we don't know what is really going to happen. Who is now going to call off the strike or is going to call the strike now? You, who are the nationals, have agreed that you call off the strike. But it's affecting the people at the state and the local government level. Who is going to come to their aids? Who? Is this the governor now, who is newly elected? Or it is the governor that is doing it for second time? Who is going to rescue the civil servants who are the labor at the state level? Now, part of what I see they made mention yesterday. Now, Ajero should do something for me. He should call all the coordinators of all the 36 states, including the federal FCT, to see how they are going to fashion out by the state level. Because we are going to the same market, as Mr. George always says. We are in the same market. The federal will go to the same market. The state will go to the same market. The local government will go to the same market. Those who do not have job will go to the same market. Those who are self-employed will go to the same market. So, and in as much that those ideologies and those marketers have seen here that 35% has gone to their money. We'll see what's going to happen now. So there are some things that they should do secretly to themselves, not to even proclaim it or to pronounce it heavily. I was coming this morning and I got to shop somewhere. I normally took Okada from one place to where I normally took your bus. He said 300. I said, what? I said 31 now. He said, put him on now. So I now look at myself. I said, did you quantify what you use to carry me from that place to this little, this were carrying me here before it's 100 naira. Why is it 200 naira now? You say that is it. So what I'm saying is that the state NSC or civil servant of the state should not be exception out of this what they may mention now.